Hey guys, this is Sohi. Today I want to talk to you about how to thrive over the holidays without derailing your fitness progress. If you're someone who has worked really hard over the spring and the summer and the fall, I can understand that you are afraid of undoing all your progress and undoing all of your hard work and pretty much throwing away all the time and energy you've already invested into getting to where you already are right now. Regardless of your fitness goal, whether that be fat loss, strength gain, muscle gain, whatever it may be, the concerns are universal. How do I stay on track over the holidays? How do I enjoy myself and allow myself to partake in social events without feeling anxiety, without feeling like I'm being controlled by the food? These are all very valid concerns that I want to take some time today to address. I asked you guys to send me some questions that you may have about how to approach the holiday season, and I've got them written down here, so I'll be going over those today. But before I get into that, I do want to say a few words about my general thoughts about how to approach the holiday season. This will be my third upcoming holiday season, where I really feel like I'm finally getting to that place where I understand that the food does not control me. And while food is a really big part of the holidays and it's a really big part of culture in general, you don't have to overindulge. You don't have to eat to the point of being stuffed in order to really enjoy your experience. And in fact, I'd even argue that you don't have to eat until you're full. You can eat until you're about a 6 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10, where 0 is ravenous and 10 is completely stuffed up to your throat and about to puke. For those of you who have been to that point, you know that it's really not a pleasant feeling to be at a 10 out of 10 and feeling like you're going to barf at any second because you've inhaled way too much food and you've ignored your body's signals that you're done eating. With the holidays, I think that it's a really fun time. You're spending a lot of time with your loved ones, with your families, with your friends, and people you may not normally get to see. I think a lot of times what can happen with people who who care about their fitness and care about their physiques is that they really let themselves get consumed by their adherence to their program. They say, okay, I got the holiday season coming up, but I'm going to adhere to my fitness program no matter what, at all costs. Even if it means I'm eating dry turkey and broccoli at Thanksgiving dinner, I'm going to do it because I'm hardcore and I'm going to make it work. That is not hardcore. That is, in my mind, I think that's taking the easy way out, because the black and white mindset, the all or nothing mindset, is really, really easy to adopt. And it's really easy to say, okay, I'm never going to let myself have any fun. I'm never going to go out and see my friends. I'm never going to enjoy non-tracked meals with loved ones because I have this one goal that I want to reach, and I'm not going to let anything deter me from that. My thinking is that no matter where you are in your fitness journey, no matter if you're a beginner, if you're elite, I think that if you are sitting in the corner and eating your own separate diet food or fitness, healthy, physique-friendly food in the corner by yourself, if that's what you're doing, then I think that you're completely missing the point of the holidays. And not only that, but I think that you're taking fitness to an unhealthy level where it's negatively impacting your quality of life. I don't like to condone that, because that was me back in the summer, let's say the winter of 2008. I was a freshman in college, and I remember that Thanksgiving I went back to LA to see my family. We went over to my uncle's house to have Thanksgiving dinner with him, and I was so obsessed with sticking to my meal plan, which is what I was on at the time, that I did not eat any of the stuffing. I had my plate and I filled up on veggies, and I made sure it was completely dry with no sauce, no oil, no cream, nothing. And then I got the driest pieces of turkey breast that I could find. And I sat there picking at my food, thinking that I was better than everyone else, and that that what I was doing was something to be admired. Meanwhile, everything around me looked so delicious and so yummy, and I was denying myself of all those foods. Lo and behold, later that night, my willpower had become so depleted, because I was relying on willpower at that point to resist the food, because I wasn't allowing myself to have any of it. This comes as no surprise. I ended up completely binging on everything that I didn't get to eat earlier that day. Not only that, but I ate way more that night than I would have if I had just given myself permission to enjoy that one meal in moderation. So I learned a big lesson that winter after piling on 20 pounds in a very short amount of time. And keep in mind, I have a very small frame. I'm only 5'2", so 20 pounds on a 5'2" frame is a lot of weight, especially to be putting it on so rapidly. And I learned a lot of lessons from that, and it was a really painful process because I pretty much went from wearing all of my favorite clothes to all of a sudden living in sweatpants and baggy t-shirts for a long time after that. And I don't want that to happen to you. I don't want your plans to backfire. I care about your quality of life and I care about your well-being. So I want that to remain as intact as possible. So let's tackle the questions. First one I'm going to cover is from Stephanie. She says, what would be the best way to track macros during the holidays? Is estimation okay? So the thing that I'll say about macro tracking is that, one, you definitely don't have to be tracking your macros, especially during a time like the holidays. During this time, you may decide that you don't want to worry about how many grams of protein and carbs and fats that you're consuming every day, and you don't want to be having to fiddle with your phone and playing around with different food amounts every night. I think for some people, it's just not worth it for them, and that's completely okay. That's a decision that you can make for yourself, whether or not you want to continue to track your macros during the holidays. If you do want to track your calories and your macros, understand that there is going to be a little bit of extra work that you're going to have to do, a little bit of extra planning. My best advice would be to, obviously, one, plan ahead. You have to plan ahead. Second, plan your macros around the fun food that you want to eat. For example, if tomorrow you know that you're going to have some cookies, then maybe plug 2 or 3 cookies into your macros and then plan everything else around that. Maybe you'll make sure you get in enough protein and veggies in your other meals because you know that at dinner you're going to have a carb and fat heavy meal with lots of sugar and lots of grease, and do something like that. Most importantly, just don't obsess over it and enjoy your time. Estimation is absolutely okay, and I estimate when I go out to eat or when I go to a friend's house. I estimate my foods all the time, and it all works out. Just the biggest thing is don't stress out about it. Don't stress about difference of a few grams here and there. It's really not worth it. Daniel asks, what are some good ways of implementing portion control? The people who tend to stay lean year-round tend to be the ones who can approach a situation like a buffet or a meal at a friend's house, and rather than diving headfirst into all the food options and piling on as much food as they can, they survey their options and they come up with a plan in their head. They're going to say, okay, I see my options. Here are the few things that I really, really want to eat. I'm going to pile on protein onto my plate first because that's most important. And then I'm going to choose 2 or 3 treats that I want to try. And I'm just going to have a little bit of each. And then I'm going to have some veggies too. Have a plan when you go into it. And understand that eating more of a food does not actually make it taste better. In fact, typically the first bite tends to be the best tasting, and then after that, your enjoyment of the food tends to gradually decrease with each successive bite. Also, don't be so focused on this food that you forget to interact with the people that you're with, because that's a big part of enjoying the holidays as well, is catching up with your loved ones, and you do love them. Do you really want to look back and say, man, all the memories that I have of my holidays were just me bonding with my pumpkin pie and me bonding with my Christmas cookies, and that's it, and I don't remember who I was with or where I was? I don't think you want that to be you. Melissa asks, how do you resist all the Christmas treats without derailing your efforts to eat healthy? As an example, I've been eating some treats every day this week because it's that time of year, and I really, I have a sweet tooth. I love cookies. The night before, I'll plan ahead. I'll say, okay, tomorrow I want to eat 2 cookies. First, I will do my best to try to plug it into my post-workout meal if I can. So after a training session, I'll have that. Maybe I'll have 2 cookies with a protein shake or something. And then second, I will make sure that the rest of my day consists of really high quality whole foods, things like chicken breast and some veggies, maybe some kale tossed in coconut oil. Your total calories is what matters the most as far as gaining weight or losing weight. So no, cookies are not the most high quality food. pie is not the most high quality food, but if you're fitting it into your day and you're just taking it into context, you can definitely make it work. Whether you're dieting through the holidays, whether you're reverse dieting, or whatever it may be, you can definitely make it work. Victoria asks, if you have no idea what dishes will be served, then how do you plan for it? The people who tend to be the most successful with their eating habits, they implement the same behaviors regardless of where they are, who they're with, or what they're eating. So they don't worry about what they're going to eat. They don't always have to know what they're going to be eating. Sometimes having a successful meal just means regardless of whatever you end up eating, you're going to practice the same strategies, which is eating slowly, which means being mindful of every bite that you take and really paying attention to the food rather than scrolling through your phone and not really tasting the food or really getting anything out of experience. And 3, listen to your body and stop when you're full or when you stop loving the food. If it doesn't taste delicious to you anymore, that's your signal to stop. If you're going over to a friend's house or your grandma's house and you don't know what dishes are going to be served, that's okay. You can, maybe during the day, you can say, okay, I'm going to stick to mostly protein, lean protein and vegetables, let's say, as an example, during the day, because I know that this evening is probably going to be heavy in carbs and heavy in fats, and I want to give myself the wiggle room to enjoy it. Then you can definitely do that. Please do not stress about what you're eating. Do not stress about how to account for the macros in this thing, how to account for the calories and that, and how do I plug it into my phone. Don't overlook the whole point of the holiday season. You want to enjoy your time, right? You don't want to say, well, I didn't really get to enjoy my holidays because I was so obsessed with my macros. Andrea asks, how do I calculate macros for a portion of prepared food that has multiple ingredients? Andrea, there are lots of sources online that already provide the nutrition information of ready-made foods, things like stuffing. You can go to My Macros Plus, and if you type in stuffing, that'll come up. And even though it may not be the exact same version that you're making for dinner or that a friend has made or is at a restaurant, I think that finding something that's similar enough and using that is just kind of has to be good enough. Don't get so stuck on being perfect with your nutrition that you see success and failure as black and white, and it's either you're on your macros or you're on plan or you're completely off the walls, because it really isn't that way. I really love, especially over the holiday season, for you all to be able to come to a place where maybe your eating isn't perfect every day, and honestly, I don't even know what perfect eating means, but cutting yourself some slack and giving yourself some grace so that if you have an extra cookie one day, you're not going to beat yourself up about it, and you're not going to do extra cardio the next day. By the way, I never condone engaging in compensatory behavior, whether that be cutting calories or doing extra exercise to make up for a nutrition whoopsie, so don't do it. Really, if you just say, okay, that happened, I made this nutrition mistake, all right, maybe that wasn't the best thing to do, but instead of talking negatively to myself, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to be honest with myself and think about what happened and try to figure out why it happened, and then come up with a plan to maybe prevent that from happening next time. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this mistake to do better as I move forward? So always use your mistakes as a positive learning experience. And lastly, over the holidays, again, it's the freaking holidays, okay? Do not stress out about your eating. Train hard, train often, get enough rest, fit in your favorite treats, practice moderation. Portion control is your friend. Good enough is good enough. Don't stress about it. That's it.